Do you ever feel like you're talking to a brick wall when trying to motivate your teenager? You're not alone. In fact, studies show that over 60% of teens struggle with motivation at some point. But here's the shocking part: it's not always because they're lazy. Recent research reveals that the teenage brain is still developing, especially the areas that control decision-making and motivation. This means they might not be able to stay focused or push through tasks like adults do. It's also been shown that teens today are under more stress than ever, with 70% of them reporting feeling overwhelmed by school and social pressures. So, when your teen seems glued to their phone or avoiding chores, it might be more about stress or confusion than pure laziness. In this video, you'll learn strategies to help your teen discover their inner drive. From breaking the procrastination cycle to tapping into their passions, we'll explore creative ways to boost motivation. Stay tuned as we dive into the science of teen behavior and show you how to be the parent who inspires lasting change, not just a one-time push. Chapter 1. Unlocking the mystery of teen laziness. It's not what you think. As a parent, you've probably experienced the frustration of trying to motivate a teenager who seems to lack ambition or drive. But here's the thing: what looks like laziness is often something more complex. Research shows that the teen brain is still developing, particularly in areas responsible for decision-making and motivation. According to Dr. Sarah Jane Blakemore, a leading neuroscientist, the prefrontal cortex, responsible for planning and impulse control, doesn't fully mature until the mid-20s. This means teens aren't wired to think the same way adults do. But there's more to it than just brain development. Teens today are under more stress than ever before. A study by the American Psychological Association found that teens report higher stress levels than adults, mainly due to school pressures and social media. The feeling of being overwhelmed can manifest as laziness or avoidance. Teenagers may also struggle with motivation because they don't see immediate rewards for their hard work. This is especially true in an era where instant gratification is at their fingertips. Whether it's a video game, social media, or binge-watching shows, the instant dopamine hits these activities provide are a powerful temptation. To change this, parents need to help teens connect their actions with long-term rewards. Instead of calling them lazy, try to understand their needs. Is your teen feeling overwhelmed by school? Are they uncertain about their future? Help them see the bigger picture by talking about their passions and how they can use their skills to achieve future goals. It's crucial that teens feel they have autonomy in their lives. According to research from the University of California, teens are more motivated when they believe they have control over their decisions. In short, laziness in teens isn't always about lack of effort. It's often about a lack of direction, a mismatch between goals and motivation, or the challenges they face in navigating today's complex world. Chapter 2. The Power of Purpose. Helping your teen find their why. The key to unlocking your teen's motivation lies in helping them discover their why. This isn't just a motivational buzzword, it's backed by science. According to a study from the University of Michigan, people who have a clear sense of purpose are more likely to engage in activities that require effort, even when the rewards are distant. Teens who know the reason behind their actions are far more likely to follow through. So how do you help your teen find their why? Start by having meaningful conversations about their interests. A simple question like, "What would you love to spend your time doing if there were no limits?" can spark a sense of excitement and curiosity. Encourage them to explore their passions, whether it's art, sports, writing, or something else. It's important to avoid simply pushing your own agenda. A study by the University of California found that teens are much more likely to pursue goals that align with their personal interests rather than those that are imposed by others. If your teen is passionate about something, support that passion, even if it doesn't match your expectations. Give your teen room to set their own goals. If they have a passion for video games, for example, guide them on how they could turn it into something productive, perhaps through coding or game design. Research shows that teens are more motivated when they can connect their interests with real-world applications. By giving them a sense of ownership over their goals, you make it easier for them to find the motivation to pursue them. And let's not forget that failure is part of the journey. According to Carol Dweck's book Mindset, teaching teens that failure is a natural part of growth can be a powerful motivator. When teens understand that mistakes don't define them, they're more likely to keep trying and find their purpose. Chapter 3. Parent as Coach, Not Boss. The Art of Positive Guidance. The way you approach motivation can make all the difference. If you've been taking the role of the boss in your teen's life, it's time for a change. Research from the University of Michigan suggests that teenagers respond better to a coaching approach, rather than an authoritarian one. When teens feel supported and guided rather than controlled, they're more likely to take ownership of their actions and find motivation within themselves. One effective strategy is to adopt a coaching mindset. Instead of commanding your teen to clean their room or finish their homework, ask them how they plan to accomplish these tasks. Use open-ended questions that invite them to come up with solutions, such as, "What's a good plan for getting your assignments done?" Or, "How can we break this task into smaller steps?" This approach empowers them to take charge of their own responsibilities. Positive reinforcement is another crucial element of coaching. Rather than focusing on what your teen isn't doing, highlight what they are doing well. A study published in the Journal of Applied Psychology found that teens are more motivated when they receive praise for specific actions, rather than general praise. For instance, instead of saying, "Good job," try saying, "I really admire how you broke that project down into steps." Building trust is essential for this strategy to work. Teens are more likely to listen to advice from parents who show respect and understanding. Instead of making constant demands, listen to their concerns and validate their feelings. When your teen feels heard, they're more likely to open up and collaborate with you on finding solutions. As a coach, your role is to encourage growth and independence. Offer feedback that helps them improve, but also celebrate their progress. Over time, this can help shift their mindset from being externally motivated to being internally motivated, something that lasts far longer than any external rewards. If you're finding this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe to stay updated on more tips to boost your teen's motivation. Chapter 4. Breaking the Cycle. How to end the procrastination spiral. Procrastination is a common problem among teenagers, and it's not just laziness. In fact, studies show that procrastination is often linked to anxiety, perfectionism, and a lack of time management skills. According to research from the University of Sheffield, up to 70% of students procrastinate regularly, and this behavior can lead to stress and poor academic performance. Understanding why your teen procrastinates is the first step toward breaking the cycle. One key factor in procrastination is the fear of failure. If a teen feels overwhelmed by a task or worries about not doing it perfectly, they may avoid it altogether. The good news is that this can be changed. The first strategy is to help your teen break large tasks into smaller, more manageable steps. Instead of saying, "Do your homework," try saying, "Let's start with the first math problem." By breaking tasks into bite-sized pieces, it feels less overwhelming, and your teen can begin building momentum. Another trick is to set a timer. The Pomodoro technique, where you work for 25 minutes and then take a 5-minute break, is an effective way to stay focused. In fact, studies show that using time blocks like this increases productivity and reduces procrastination. It works because it's easier to commit to short bursts of work, and the reward of a break makes it more bearable. The environment can play a huge role in overcoming procrastination. According to a study from the University of California, minimizing distractions, like turning off social media notifications, can significantly improve focus and reduce procrastination. Encourage your teen to create a designated study space that's free of distractions. This simple change can boost their productivity. It's also important to address the emotional side of procrastination. Sometimes, teens avoid tasks because they feel anxious or unsure. Encourage your teen to take deep breaths and remind them that making mistakes is part of the learning process. As Carol Dweck says in her book Mindset, the view you adopt for yourself profoundly affects the way you lead your life. Help your teen develop a growth mindset where they see setbacks as opportunities to learn, rather than reasons to avoid tasks. Lastly, celebrate progress. Instead of waiting for the big finish, recognize small victories along the way. Whether it's completing a chapter of a book or finishing a homework problem, acknowledge the effort. This positive reinforcement builds confidence and motivates them to keep going. Chapter 5. Teen Motivation Hacks. Setting challenges they'll actually enjoy. Every teen is different, and finding what motivates them can feel like searching for a needle in a haystack. But here's a secret: teens are far more motivated when they're challenged in ways that feel exciting or rewarding. A study from the Journal of Educational Psychology found that students are more likely to engage with tasks when they're given some form of challenge or game-like element. If you can tap into your teen's natural curiosity and competitive spirit, motivation can skyrocket. One of the best ways to motivate a teen is to make tasks feel like a challenge. Try setting up friendly competitions or missions, where they can earn rewards for completing certain tasks. For instance, if your teen is struggling to clean their room, turn it into a timed challenge. How fast can they sort their laundry? The idea is to make the task fun and engaging, so they don't feel like it's just another boring chore. Gamification is another effective technique. If your teen enjoys video games, use this to your advantage. Set up a point system for completing tasks like homework, chores, or studying. When they accumulate enough points, they can unlock rewards, such as extra screen time or a special outing. Gamifying daily tasks can make motivation feel more like a game than an obligation, which is exactly what many teens need to stay on track. Don't underestimate the power of personal interests. A study published in Educational Psychology International suggests that teens are more motivated to succeed when they can tie their actions to something they care about. If your teen loves photography, for example, encourage them to document their study progress with pictures or create a photo project related to their schoolwork. The idea is to connect school or chores to something they genuinely enjoy. It's also crucial to allow your teen to set their own goals. Involving them in the process gives them a sense of ownership and responsibility. A study by the American Psychological Association found that students who set their own goals were more motivated and performed better academically. Have a conversation about what they want to accomplish, and help them map out how to achieve it. Finally, create an environment that supports creativity and exploration. Teens are more likely to engage with something if they feel they have room to experiment and make mistakes. Encourage your teen to try new things, whether it's a new sport, a creative project, or a different study technique. This sense of autonomy and creativity boosts motivation and keeps them engaged. Chapter 6. Consistency is key. Building long-term motivation for lasting change. Motivation isn't something that just appears overnight, it's built over time. If you want to help your teen develop long-term motivation, consistency is key. A study from the University of Bristol shows that regular, positive routines significantly improve motivation and performance, especially when these routines align with personal interests. So, rather than relying on occasional bursts of motivation, focus on creating habits that last. One of the most effective ways to build lasting motivation is to establish routines. Research from the Journal of Behavioral Medicine found that teens with consistent routines, such as having set times for studying, exercising, and sleeping, are more productive and motivated. Help your teen structure their day in a way that balances productivity with relaxation. For instance, setting aside time for homework in the afternoon, followed by a break, creates a predictable rhythm that supports sustained motivation. Another powerful strategy is to model the behavior you want to see. Teens are much more likely to stay motivated when they see their parents leading by example. If they observe you setting goals, staying focused, and pushing through challenges, they'll be more inclined to do the same. According to a study by Harvard University, teens who have role models at home are more likely to adopt positive behaviors and attitudes. It's also important to keep communication open. Ask your teen about their goals and check in regularly to see how they're progressing. A study from the University of Nebraska-Lincoln found that teens who feel supported by their parents are more motivated to succeed. So, be an active part of their journey by offering encouragement, advice, and understanding. Lastly, be patient. Building long-term motivation takes time, and there will be setbacks along the way. Instead of focusing on the occasional slip-up, celebrate their persistence and small successes. As Angela Duckworth, author of Grit, puts it, grit is passion and perseverance for long-term goals. Teach your team to keep pushing forward, even when things get tough. By focusing on consistency, positive reinforcement, and long-term goals, you'll help your team build the motivation they need to succeed in all areas of life. With time, they'll develop the habits and mindset necessary to stay motivated and focused, no matter what challenges come their way. If you found these strategies helpful, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you never miss a tip for improving your team's motivation.